the thing with those good stands of trees, there's products that are out there that we make different things out of wood. On the high value side, pine poles right at the top. When we had the plywood mills, used to be the ply logs, were a high value product where they could peel them and make plywood. Hardwood, really like to see some flooring markets around because they took those red oak logs and made hardwood flooring, and that was a very high value product when it was available. The other stuff we can still move. We make railroad ties, we can make pallets, we can make plywood, paper products. Now they're making little chips that they're pelleted, that they're sending around and using for energy. A lot of wood out there, and there's things that we can make with that wood. First thing you're going to need is that inventory. What do you got? What's out there? What's your forest growing? And that could be identifying species of trees, be doing the volume of trees that you have. So you need the inventory of what you have on your property so you can make good decisions. And I have a lot of landowners would come up and say, somebody stopped and offered me $25,000 for my timber. You know, so, well, what do you got on it? Well, I don't know. You know, so really the first thing is get that inventory, and then we can calculate a value to it. Turns out they had about twice that in value standing on their property. So you need to know what's out there. You know what the price of gas is. You go to the pump 3 or 4 times a week, you know, if you're driving around, but you don't sell timber that often. You know, it could be 15, 20 years. So what's timber going for and what's your volume? So you got to kind of get yourself re-educated so that you make good decisions. Kind of how we're getting that volume, we're going to measure the trees that we're going to do. We're going to get a height, and we're going to measure diameter, and most of us measure 4.5 feet. That's typical measurement. On this 18-inch tree with 2 logs, and we look on a scale. There's different scales that we use now, but our legal scale was the Doyle Scale. So that tree had 164 board feet, and at the time, $250 per thousand. That tree was worth $41. So, well, it doesn't sound like a lot. Well, you might have 100 trees on the acre. So, I mean, there's a lot of trees out there. So when you say, well, that tree's only $30 times 100, you know, it starts adding up to several $1,000s. It could be standing there. So you really need that information. And there you are measuring a tree. This is a great cherry bark oak, one of the high class red oaks that are out there, 28 inches in DBH. It had 2.5 logs, so it's had 650 board feet in this tree. So each tree is going to have their volume, and we're going to get that estimate, and that's how you're going to get those bases. We're going to get this volume and the value, and that's going to help you establish your basis if you're going to do it. If you're going to sell timber, it's going to tell you what you're putting on the market. So it gives you an idea of the prices you should be getting. And if you're not getting what you think it's worth, then you can hold on to it a little while until the prices change. We did an example and measured 1/10 of an acre, which is one of our standard measuring guides. And the trees on this 1/10 of an acre totaled about $300 in value. So that's about $3,000 of timber standing there in 40 acres. You can see that number's growing. $120,000 in timber on 40 acres. And these aren't uncommon numbers. But everybody's stand's going to be a little different. That's why you got to get somebody that understands that.